Hey guys, welcome back to Tracie's Place. I am back with the second part to the video of how to deal with your in-laws. So we're going to get into the questions that were sent to me. I'd ask that you send them either by email or put the questions below. So I got some feedback, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm just going to do between 2 and 3 depending on how long the answers are. All right. So, question number 1 is, I have a question. What about sister-in-laws? How would you feel if you had a baby and they constantly ask for money and are judgmental about you being a stay-at-home mom? It makes me want to be single. Oh my goodness. I sure hate that you are going through this. I don't know if you are newly married or what, but that is a bad situation to be put into. So let me go ahead with the answer. Um, First of all, you and I don't know if you are Christian or not. A lot of my answers, my format and things are Christian based. So if you are or are not, it doesn't matter. You can still get good information. Okay. So, but you want to pray. You want to pray about it because you need direction in how to deal with your in laws. When your in laws are asking for money, it can be a touchy subject. It can be a touchy subject for you and your spouse because you all were raised different for the most part. Sometimes you can have the same values and things, but still in your two separate households that you were raised in, things were just, a little different for the most part. And most couples come together in that way. So first of all, you want to get on the same page with your husband. You want to make out the rules for your household, whether it be, I don't know your financial situation per se, but as it seems, you say you're a stay-at-home mom, and then you have a baby also. So I would imagine it's not just like you're just rolling in dough. So you didn't say exactly what the situation was, but I know that you're kind of offended that they're asking. So I'm thinking that you may be a little tight with money and they're not understanding why you can't give them money or what have you. Okay, so first of all, it's selfish on their part that they're asking for money, and I don't know if they know you guys' situation or what your situation is financially, but it's selfish to ask for money when a person has just had a baby. And like I said, I don't know if you're newly married, meaning under 2 years or whatever, but it's still a touchy time in your household. A lot of times, one family could have been brought up with the stance of the mother and father taught their kids to be tight knit, and they taught them to have the stance of if you got it, I got it. But that does not automatically roll over to when you are married, and that sibling now has their own household too. They have a wife to take care of and children to take care of, a whole household and themselves. So it's not fair for the siblings, whether they don't have it or not, to expect that other sibling is going to automatically just come up with the money for them. And you have to kind of look at it from this perspective also. Like I said, I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but sometimes people come at you where they kind of misconstrue what the Bible says about lending money or giving money. Basically, you're supposed to automatically give people money when they ask for it. And that is not the case always. Bible is basically speaking of if you have to give it, don't deny, your brother. If they're in need, then don't, deny your brother when they have a need. And if you have it, you give it to them. But some people misconstrue that and they think that okay, well, I just ain't worked for it long enough, or I don't have it right now, but they got it, so they can give it to me. And that is not how that goes. You do not want to be an enabler for your siblings or your in-laws. Um, when you enable people, it does not help them. So if they have a stance of, I'm just going to get it from you, they're not going to grow into being disciplined to save up for things themselves or to have any value or work ethic if you just give them things. So it's not helping them at all. What you want to do is, after you get on the same page with your husband, like I said earlier, and they come to you maybe that first time, asking for money, and if you have extra and it's not a bother, and they need something, of course, yeah, give it if it's something in necessity. But you are not required to give your in-laws anything if they just because they want it, just because they haven't saved up for it, or just because they're not working, and they want you to co-sign for this car, and they want you to buy this for them, and I'll pay you back, and it could be 5 months later or whatever. That's not what you do. So if it happens once and they're in need, fine. If they come back again and they're really in need and they have really been on hard times, and you have it, give it. But when they come back third and fourth and fifth time, and they don't mean well, they're not going to be paying you back, or they're just taking you for granted, and that they just don't have any sense of a work ethic. They're not going to try to get it for themselves ever. You will then be an enabler. You'll be helping them just stay the way they are. So you do not want to do that. And as it looks, it seems to be that they are asking you, the stay-at-home mom, and your spouse, their sibling, for money, but they are not happy with you all's decision of you being a stay-at-home mom, regardless of the reason. That's your situation, and they're complaining because you've decided to be a stay-at-home mom, or you just are a stay-at-home mom right now. So the thing is, why are they even coming to you asking for money? What kind of plight are they in? And they're, disgruntled with you because you don't have it to give, and so they're nitpicking you apart for being a stay-at-home mom, and all of these things. They really don't have a leg to stand on. They really should just, if it's just something they want, or they just asking for money just out of habit almost, and they're picking you apart too, no, you're not required to give them money. Hopefully your husband is talking to, letting them know, because once you and your husband get on the same page and you know what you're going to do for your household, and it is up to your husband to talk to his family. And if it was on your family's end, it would be your job to talk to your family and say, this is not how we do it in my household. We're not just going to be loaning you money because X, Y, and Z, but if you are really ever in need and we have it, we'll certainly give it. So you want to deal with your family separately. And if there's a big hoorah for some reason, you may want to just call a family meeting, and like I said, always pray before, and always do things decently and in order. But you may just want to have a family sit down and talk about things, and you don't ever have to go into an extensive explanation of why you do what you do in your own household, because it's actually none of their business anyway. But if you want to be considerate, just so that they understand, sometimes people are okay, just, oh, okay, we get it, sorry about that, But then some people just don't have no common sense and are not mature to know, anyway. So sometimes it's just like, it is what it is. So always pray, always be prayerful, and be on one accord with your spouse. Also, sometimes in-laws just don't get the fact that their money is not your money, and that your money is not their money. Like I said, they just kind of interchange money and different things like that. But being that you have your own household now, a lot of them just don't understand. They don't seem to be mature enough to understand that, okay, brother Johnny is the oldest, and him and his wife, or his household, he might be retired, their cars may be paid off, their house may be paid off, and they are living the life. They've saved up, they had a good 401k or a pension or whatever, and they're doing whatever, and they're good. And then sometimes you have those people that are kind of in between, they're doing all right, and then you have brother Jeff or sister Kiki or whatever over here, and they're in a one income household, whether it's by they want it like that, or it is just like that because of some circumstance. In-laws have to respect that, because I've heard of too many situations where somebody wants to buy uh, mama this expensive gift in thanks for everything that they've done for her and sacrificed and all that good stuff, which you should and you want to be able to bless your parents, but it doesn't have to be in a certain amount of money to please anyone else. And even your a mother and father-in-law or mother and father usually by observation know each one of their children and what kind of condition their child's household is in the first place. And I'm speaking for me, I wouldn't want my child going broke or having to extend themselves trying to buy me something. If you buy me just give me a nice car, you say, oh mama, I'm thankful for this, I love you so much, blah 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 blah, buy me a blouse, you can go to, I'm just not picky like that, and I'm not all hasidity like that. And sometimes there are certain people in the family that are, and you just have to tell them that, okay, right now we're not able to do that, we're going to buy mama or daddy what we're going to get them, and go for that. You all can get the gift, sorry we can't go in. And sometimes the siblings are okay with that. They'll put your name on it even. If you have good, nice siblings like that and they know you really can't afford to, do that, they'll go ahead and they'll put your name on it or whatever. Or even if they don't, that's okay. That's okay. You all go ahead and get that. And we're going to do this. And that's how we're going to do it. But sometimes some people don't understand that. They're like, well, we're putting in this, and this is what we're getting for mama for such a, this is what we're getting for dad for the, and you need to pay $200 for this gift. Everybody's paying $200, and you need to put in. And no, you don't have to do that. You do not have to do that. Like I said, any good standing mother, father, they don't even require that. Don't even want you to do that. And if they do, something's wrong with them. All right, and the second question, I hope that answered everything. If not, please let me know. For the second question, it is, what if my in-laws don't like me? And they didn't give a specific reason or anything like that. They just said, what if my in-laws don't like me? And I, again, hate that you are in that situation, because that is a bad, uncomfortable situation to be in. When someone new is coming into the family, hopefully you haven't made bad waves yourself, because sometimes people do make an entrance into a family and offend people, or and different things like that. But if you're coming in and you're just being you're generally basically a nice person, you haven't made any waves or anything like that, and it's just them, they just don't like you. And I don't know if this is the whole family basically, or if it's one person that doesn't jive well with you. So when that happens, just sometimes you have to take a step back, look at the situation. Sometimes you have to say, well, does that person I feel that they don't like me, do they generally just not like anybody? Do they have a bone to pick? Do they have something to say about it? Because I know people like that. They're miserable with themselves and they just don't like anybody. They can be like a no-nonsense person themselves, just kind of straightforward and just blah. And they don't like people because they don't like another person because they're excitable, or they're smiling or happy, or they talk a lot, whatever. And they're just like, I can't stand her, and that's unfounded. If you have somebody like that, that is just, sometimes you have to learn how to let things roll off your back. Even sometimes when it's just with you. But if it bothers you, sit down with that person. Sometimes they have a good explanation for why you may think they don't like you. And sometimes it is just that they are miserable. They're a miserable person themselves. Things are not going well in their life. They may not be married and you're married and you're happy, and they're jealous of you, or they want things that you have, and you're so nice. How are you nice all the time, and why do you look like that all the time, and why, all these things that are unfounded, that they're just angry about. And sometimes they're just angry, period. So that you have to kind of step back and kind of look at the situation and see what's the case. Like I said, if it bothers you that much, sit down with them and talk to them about it, get it kind of settled. But if it's like if they just generally don't like a lot of people, then I wouldn't worry about it. And you just go on, you speak to them when you see them, hug them, whatever, and you don't have to sit down in a one-on-one conversation with them at dinner time, and you don't have to sit right by them. You don't have to entertain them. You don't even have to too much think about it. You know, sometimes it's hard. I know it's hard, but sometimes you just have to know something's wrong with them. It's not anything that's wrong with you, not anything you've done, and you just have to settle in yourself. Sometimes it makes you feel better that, you know, well, that's just, unfortunately, that's just them right now. And what you do is you pray for them and you keep it moving. Sometimes it's to where the situation are, you're just uncomfortable with your in-laws. I know of situations to where you have to go over to your in-laws house for Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever, and there's just always this one or two in-laws that are always popping off at the mouth and always saying sarcastic things, and you know, different things like that. I don't know exactly, like you said, I don't know exactly your situation, but I'm just kind of throwing things out there. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, and you know, you have to go. It's time to go to dinner or go be with them, and it's just like, oh my gosh, yeah, you feel like you have to put on an armor and protect yourself, and you know, if they say this, I'm gonna say that, and you just have to kind of, you're getting all tense, you know, going over there, and that is so, oh my goodness, that is so unfortunate. I know a lot of people that have to go through that, and it's just ridiculous, immature. People can just be immature sometimes, and sometimes they're jealous, or sometimes they are, I don't know what, they just want to size you up. And unfortunately, like a lot of people, it's mostly sister-in-laws or the mother-in-law. A lot of times when a new guy goes into a new family, the father-in-law and the other people are just basically like, okay, as long as you're gonna treat my daughter good or treat our sister good, you know, we're good. But women, oh Lord have mercy, they want to size you up and pick you apart, and oh, I wonder why he picked her, and oh good, just wants to, what, you know, just whoa. And women can be so awful at times, so awful at times. When someone new comes into your family, you should welcome them with open arms, especially if they have not done anything. If they're just a little different than you, so be it. Okay, so be it. Be kind to them. You know, sometimes during the years, certain ways meld into each other. You start liking each other. And I mean, some ways, you know, rub off on you that they do, and you don't mind accepting their traditions, and you know, vice versa. But when it's a hostile environment from the get-go, it's very hard for people to come together. It takes years sometimes, and that's very unfortunate. So what I would say to you is pray about it, and then your husband should talk to his family. Like I said, if it's the like the whole family that just basically doesn't like you, I think it would be good for the husband to then talk to his family about, like, why don't you like my wife? Or if it's the wife, you know, why don't you like my husband? They should first confront them, and then maybe, and then after that's, you know, it kind of gets a feeling of what's going on, then you all come together and talk. But if, like I said, if it's just one person and you just can't get a handle on, you know, what's going on and it's bothering you that bad, it's a good thing to talk to them. Always do things decent and in order, displaying good character, and trying to be nice and kind, and trying to make good of a situation, not trying to put a further wedge in the family or the situation. All right, guys, so I hope that answered both of the questions. If you have any additional questions, please put them down in the comments below, or email me like some of you do. I have no problem answering, and like I said, the Marriage Monday won't be every Monday, but it'll be, you know, sporadically, but it will be called Marriage Monday, because I love all things marriage, and I just, you know, it hurts me to see when people, you know, go through different things, and that can be avoided or fixed. All right, so I love you all. If you're new here, subscribe. Click that notification bell, because you will see the video right away when I upload. Also, share this video. If you know anybody going through any of these things, share this video. Hopefully you've seen something that has helped and may help someone else. So share the video. All right, love you all. Be blessed, and I'll see you guys next time right back here on Tracie's Place. Bye.